AJ. AJ.
What up, player?
AJ, marry, fuck, kill. Astrobot, No Man's Sky, Dreams.
Oh man.
I thought long and hard about this.
Astrobot, No Man's Sky, and Dreams.
Marry, fuck, kill.
Kill Astrobot.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude,
Fuck
that
No
poor
Man's
little
Sky
poor little
and Merry
robot's
Dreams.
Yeah, but I don't think you're too far off. I think that works just fine.
That's probably the hardest question I've ever been asked in my life.
Wow, and it took you mere seconds to answer. This is good. This is good. All right, man. Let's get this show started.
I'm quick like that.
Let's do
I
this
mean,
thing.
not like that, but you know what I mean.
Quick like you're quick in other ways. Is that what you're saying? Let's start the show. I do like that Your Long Shadows is Game Cat Meow. Said, fuck dreams. You never know what you're going to get. That's why you got to wrap it. This is PSVR GameScast Live. Right here. Live. 6 p.m. Eastern. How do we start the show? Who cares,
Coming
man?
at
It's
you
live
hot
right
and
here
steamy.
on YouTube. 6 p.m. Eastern. If you don't like watching us live or seeing our lovely faces, then don't forget you can always go to the podcast service of your choice. Spotify, Apple Podcast. I don't know. There's probably like 1,700 other ones. And listen to us over there. My name is Bryan Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole. And this guy over here, my hetero life mate, AJ, can't do this fucking thing without him from the Underground. PSVR Underground.
What is up, man? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. And I know Mondays usually suck. Yes, it's true.
Is it Monday?
But we are here, Brian, to make their Monday suck. Just a little bit less.
Yeah, that much less. No mas. Guys, if you had to wait all day to make your Monday suck just a little bit less, the alternative would be heading on over to our Discord. The link's in the description below, and we can make your Monday suck a little bit less all day long. Just hang out and say, what's up? What's going on? You guys make my Monday suck less, that's for sure. Like I said, click the link in the description below. Also consider hitting us up on patreon.com/withoutparolegames. Our goal is to hire this guy right here before PlayStation VR2 gets here, which, as we know, the reveal is just mere weeks, months away. And
Years.
and so we have mere months to get this guy hired. Let's figure that shit out.
It was a nice save. I badgered him about the thumbnail before the show. I'm like, dude, you can't keep telling people it's weeks away.
I was like,
Just
20
couldn't help
weeks
himself.
is still weeks. It's mere weeks.
Yeah,
Do you know how long
that's
we've
like
waited?
At least 15 weeks away. I mean, it's weeks, yeah, but
Do you
know.
Do you know how
this
long
is
we've
like
waited?
doing Halloween all over again.
This is nothing, man. This is nothing. We waited for 2 years to be this close to the PSVR2 reveal. It's
I
mere
know.
weeks away, even if it's
I know.
easier to say months, because it's
so close
definitely
you can taste it.
away.
I know.
And it tastes so good.
It tastes like orbs. I love it. Orbs.
So salty.
Orbs.
Why are so salty?
Whoa.
Man, AJ, this is traditionally a pretty quiet week for PSVR news, for PlayStation news, for video game news, because everyone was on Christmas break just now, and then gearing up for the holiday for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and all that stuff. So a lot of industries are kind of just shut down and give their employees a week off, and so it's not exactly typical to get a lot of PlayStation VR news. And I think you and I had so much fun talking about that Android Central article. It was, and all the cats seemed to really be into it, and you were kind of like trolling the internet. That's not what I meant. I meant you were kind of like looking around the internet and found another article that maybe we all thought would be fun to talk about, right?
Yeah. You caught me off guard when you said trolling. I mean,
Well,
because that's just such a popular alternative thing these days.
right.
Alternative meaning
You're not
to trolling. It's been replaced by internet speak.
That's right. Absolutely. AJ, say something eloquent and powerful.
What?
I don't know. I forgot to test the sound. We were so busy before the show. I forgot to test the sound levels, and you're always a little too loud. So I think I dropped you down to the right volume. But I think we're
yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Okay. You're such a forceful speaker, AJ. We had to take you down a notch. We want to give a
That's
shout
not
out.
why I'm here.
We want to give a shout out to Nihilus Ryan, the Game Feline, with a $20 tip. Says missed the Christmas Eve show live and saw all the Christmas donations. So here's a meager addition to the holiday pot. Not $20 is not any meager addition, Nihilus Ryan. We love you so very much. Thank you for the generosity. Also, Your Long Shadows is a game cat meow with the 50 Nokia cell phones, which, as we know, are going just nothing but up in value. Says y'all start at midnight, so actually herald the end of Mondays for me. Oh, so it's like a celebration, man. It's like, oh, fuck that Monday. It's over. Let's celebrate with GamesCast Live. Hell yeah.
Good to see you again, Your Long Shadows. And happy birthday. Very soon. Very soon.
When?
Her birthday's at midnight.
Just weeks away. It's like it's almost here. Oh, man. Jupiter Sky says, my Tuesday morning is just getting started. Dude, the world is so strange. It's like barely, it just gets dark here. I don't know what's happening. All right, dude. Let's so the article we wanted to talk about was a GameRant article, and I did see Matthew
There are
Longo.
great things about them.
Yeah, Matthew Longo, before the show even started, was basically like, fuck GameRant. And he's not wrong, man. Like, GameRant's whatever. If you enjoy reading it, then wonderful. But it's not exactly what I'd consider like a, super journalistic or like real high tier when it comes to gaming journalism. But it's a fun read, and I thought that we would have fun, and you thought we'd have fun responding to it during the show. So hopefully, if nothing else, this is entertaining.
I'm looking at their site. I haven't really read them before, but I'm looking at the front page, and I see nothing very offensive.
Nothing offensive, but I think that's kind of what they're all about. It's just kind of like filler pieces. It's just like,
gotcha. We're very offensive here, yeah. So
I mean, as
understood,
as offensive as we can possibly get, for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. You know what? Like, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent here because we do have something to talk about today. But Braxpro says, why can't we all just have the same time zone? And like, I am not only so all about that. It's just like, dude, I don't care. Like, why does 8 a.m. have to be the start of somebody's day? Right? Why
you'd run into the same issue though, because you'd be like, "Good morning," and they're like, "No, it's actually nighttime here," and you'd run into the same thing.
But if it's 8 a.m. all around the world, you say good morning, and it's like it's like you say Merry Christmas, and if you happen to be Jewish or you don't celebrate the religion, you don't get mad about it. You just say, "Oh yeah, Happy Holidays to you too." Whatever, you're not like, "Fuck you, 8 p.m. over here." Like, it's good night here. How dare you say good morning? I'm just saying, it's like we need to get auto meridium. That's not what it stands for.
We need to figure out the difference between weeks and months first. Let's start with that, and then
start with the big stuff and work our way down to the little stuff. Okay. Can we at least agree to get rid of daylight savings time? Can we start there?
I really like the fallback though.
Really not your fan today. All right, let's
I'm not a big fan of the springing forward so much as I am falling back.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfect.
So let's just get rid of the spring forward one.
So we constantly gain an hour
every
year.
See,
Right?
There's some good ideas here.
There's some good ideas, and then eventually it just works itself out in 24 years. We're exactly where we started, just a day earlier. I think we got it all figured out, AJ. Who needs science? You've got GamesCast Live. All right, man. Let's check out this article. Again, this is from GameRant. It's called "How Can PlayStation Improve PSVR2?" And I find the title hilarious. Just diving right into it because I'm like, PSVR2's not out. It doesn't need improvement yet. No one other than us has leaked the specs, so we're off to a good start, I think, with the article name. It's called "How Can PlayStation Improve PSVR2?" by this is going to be terribly said by me, Smengoliso Similane. Hopefully that's somewhat close. Published December 15th, 2021. Subtitles: Virtual reality will likely be a big part of gaming's future, and Sony can do a lot with the PSVR 2 hardware to ensure it's improved over PSVR. Although it's gotten off to a slow start, VR gaming is steadily gaining a foothold in the games industry. This is in part thanks to several successful VR games that have been released in recent years. This includes Half-Life Alyx by Valve and Resident Evil 4 VR, which is a port of the popular horror game by Capcom. Sony has invested in VR gaming through the PSVR, along with the exclusive games that have been released for it. To play titles such as Wipeout Omega Collection and Astrobot Rescue Mission in VR is an experience capable of revolutionizing the way people experience gaming.
Very true. They left out a couple though. I mean, they forgot. Those were of course big mainstream headlining things for sure, but Skyrim VR would put PSVR on the map, I think. Yeah, at least they gave a nod to Wipeout Omega and Astrobot Rescue Mission, because those are definitely two of the top tier quality games that you grew up on. Well, at least platformers you grew up on. Wipeout was an original PlayStation launch game, and experiencing Wipeout in VR is like something else. It is like, wow, I can't believe this wasn't originally this way to begin with.
Yeah, I don't want to shit on this author or anything, but it is interesting that he notes two flat screen ports in his reasoning that VR is starting to become more successful. And if you pay attention later in the article, he kind of goes back on that statement, and it's like this isn't what VR needs to be successful. Yet so far, it's exactly what VR has needed to be successful. But yeah, for the most part, I totally agree with him, and like a lot of great titles and blah blah blah. Let's move on.
Resident Evil 7 was a big deal for us as well.
Oh, dude.
I'm personally like that so much more than Resident Evil 4, and like it's not even close.
Yeah.
But the port of theirs is fine though, because it has the hands. But yeah, please continue.
While the PSVR has introduced many gamers to the world of VR gaming, it's also repelled some due to how unwieldy the entire system can be at times. Oh man, Erie, Indiana. Good shout, Hack. Requiring odd peripherals and plenty of wires. Sorry, easily distracted today. Fortunately, Sony is improving its VR hardware with the release of PSVR2, which is scheduled to hit stores in 2022. Sony has been very hushed about details surrounding the PSVR2, which has given gamers plenty of opportunities to think about all the hopes and dreams they have for the upcoming VR peripheral.
Yeah, a lot of people complain about the wires, and for a long time, it was hard to get Move controllers. I don't completely disagree here. And we're going to share some of our own notes as well as to what we think can really help give it a boost. But yeah, that's people's biggest complaint is the hardware, which has basically driven people to other VR headsets or just waiting for PSVR 2 because of that. Lots of complaints about the tracking and the wires and all that. Of course, mine is like super easy for me. It's like second nature, but I can understand as somebody who is jumping in for the first time. There's a lot of barriers, and Sony has actually gone on record saying that they've learned a lot from PSVR 1, and they're going to use that to enhance PSVR 2 just that much more. And things like having the one cable instead of like the breakout box, and having inside-out tracking, lots of other things.
Yeah, I do agree with him because, running a YouTube channel about PlayStation VR, I do see the comments all the time. I see the comments saying, hey, it sucks that this game doesn't support the moves, or that, hey, it's impossible to get the moves at a decent price anymore, or even find the moves, or get an aim controller at a decent price. And so, people who are just getting into the system maybe only have the DualShock 4, and they're like, oh man, should I buy these controllers or this controller? And man, it's so expensive to be able to pick them all up. And then you have to sort of think ahead as to like, what games am I going to be playing on this? Meanwhile, like you and I, who got in pretty early on, I was there from day one, and I had my Move controllers from the PS3 days, and then when the aim controller came out, it was just like, oh, this looks amazing. This is exactly what I want. And so like we slowly get to add things to our arsenal, and so people are jumping in trying to get everything all at once right now. It can be super duper overwhelming. So I totally understand that. Don't forget the 3D rudder. Yeah, the dual shock 4, the aim controller, the moves, and of course and I mean, and we joke about the 3D rudder, but for a lot of people, that is a curiosity, being like, is this something I need to like, invest in? Is this something I need to purchase? And the answer is no. Luckily, one less thing you have to pick up.
So assuming it'll alleviate a huge barrier, including the controllers with the headset this time. And I still use my PS3 Move controllers as well. I wonder how long they're going to last. That's pretty impressive that they lasted this long. But yeah, everything all in the box together will make it a lot less of a hassle for people. Not having to get a camera externally, not have to get the Move controllers from a separate source. So that will obviously be a huge improvement with the next gen headset.
I think the author here is, though, overlooking a super, super duper important point, right? When people complain or say that PSVR repelled some gamers, none of these reasons are really the thing I think that repels the gamers, right? It's like, oh, here's a bunch of reasons it could be the wires, and it could be like, a ton of accessories and blah, blah, blah. But that was never what I heard from people. Anytime I put someone into VR or had them play a VR game, they were like, why doesn't this look better? They saw the screen door effect, or they saw, or they were just like, this kind of looks like a PS2 game, right? Yeah, Resident Evil 7 and Hitman, those are exceptions to the rule, not the rule itself.
Yeah, I agree. The way the games look on a flat screen, they just don't do it justice. You can't know how VR is until you put the headset on and experience it, and that really gives you the full sense of scale and size of everything, and of course feeling stuff as well, because a lot of times you're reaching out, interacting, and it is hard to convey those things by watching on a flat screen, which is what you typically would do.
Right, yeah, oh, absolutely. Looper the Underground Game Cat with the €5 says, Astro and Wipeout, they say. How about Resident Evil 7, Hitman, Farpoint, Dreams, Blood and Truth, Fract, Arashi, Firewall, Rush of Blood? All good choices, Looper. Very good stuff. Thank you very much for your donation. All right.
No Man's Sky and Iron Man were huge. Yeah, I mean, the fact that Iron Man wasn't even mentioned, and that's like, or Blood and Truth, these were huge bundles that went out, and people went crazy over.
Yeah. But Beat Saber was in a bundle for a while there, too, right?
I think it was, shortly.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that was insanely popular.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Let's move on. So the next segment begins with Sony should. There it is. Sony should fully support PSVR2 for a long time. Not all good ideas get a fair shot to succeed. And AJ, please stop me if you have anything to go, because I might go a little bit long here. Not all good ideas get a fair shot to succeed. Within the gaming world, this was perhaps most painfully seen with the PlayStation Vita. On paper, the device was the perfect handheld gaming console. It was a technical marvel for its time, plays graphically intense games on the go, and is a robust multimedia device. To top it all off, it's an impressive, elegant gadget that is good. It is as good to look at as it is to play. I do want to stop there for a second.
You are a big Vita supporter, so you would have better insight to this than I would.
Yeah, I want to stop there just for a second and say, yes, the Vita is amazing. That OLED screen was beautiful and everything else. But I mean, it's not as beautiful to play as it is to look at. We didn't have the triggers, we just had the bumpers, right? So you didn't have L2 or R2, you just had the touchscreen on back, which the touchscreen was fucking garbage. Like, it worked great, but who the hell wants a touchscreen on the back of the system, right? So there's a whole lot of factors here. I don't even think we were so happy to get 2 analog sticks that not enough people mentioned how much fun it wasn't. It wasn't fun to use those tiny little analog sticks.
It does say on paper the device was perfect. No, I disagree, because the only reason I didn't buy it was because it required a separate like $80 memory card.
Yes.
And so this is, in terms of software, if you want to make the comparison, I mean, as far as I know, they did support the software with software for quite a while, unless I'm wrong with that. I know maybe more indies maybe held up the back end of it, but and not enough first party. But yeah, I think the Vita only sold about 10, 12 million, something like that. And when there's a market with like the Nintendo handhelds selling like 30 to 60, 70 million, something like that. Like that's what they were really going for. They invested quite a lot of tech into it. And kind of let it go a little too soon.
Yeah, I didn't even get to that, but I 100% agree with you about those memory sticks. They were proprietary memory sticks. They are still wicked expensive. Like they never went down in price ever. And so people
Well, I never
didn't
got one.
it was hard to even get into a Vita because it was like $300 I think at launch, which was like it was premium handheld device. And I think if it came with a 16 gig memory stick or something, it would have been one thing. But I think it was like I don't even know if the original model came with one. They eventually included like a 1 gig stick. It was just so expensive to get into that a ton of people just didn't even bother. And then I don't like the analog sticks and the back touchscreen. It just seemed like a lot of extraneous stuff that boosted the price and did not boost anyone's experience.
It's not the best comparison, so I think it's safe to kind of move along. But I will say, at least it's a better comparison to that than it is like 3D TVs. Because anybody that says VR is like 3D TVs, I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, it is not even close. But I can see some connections to trying to compare it to the Vita, although it's still not the best one. But I get where they're coming from, although it's doesn't really add up for me still.
Well, he goes on to say more about the Vita, so I'm going to have a little bit more to say about the Vita too, because as you said, I'm such a Vita guy. He says, unfortunately, it didn't live up to the expectations surrounding it, and Sony. Here, make scroll down for you guys. And Sony eventually cut off the device's lifespan short before abandoning it. A lot of gaming potential was lost in the process, and although Vita had miraculously managed to maintain a small cult following through the constant release of JRPGs and visual novels from third-party studios, it never got to spread its wings. The story of the PlayStation Vita is a sad one, and it illustrates how things can go awry if a gaming system does not have constant support. Now, I totally do agree with this, and I think he was spot on about the support, because at the beginning Sony was trying to say, hey, look, it's a gaming console in your hands, right? Look, it's a new Uncharted game that you can only play here, and it has Vita specific controls, and then here's a new Resistance game that you can only play here. Here's a new Killzone game that you can only play here. They were really trying to make it like, hey, this is a console in your hands. Look how beautiful it is, and look at the AAA titles we're bringing your way. And that fell off very quickly as soon as they realized that no one was buying it. And like JRPGs and visual novels are like 95% of the catalog now.
I still think this comparison still bothers me, because I still think this is like trying to compare it. This would only make sense if handhelds were like an emerging market, like just getting its first start, and this was the situation. That would make more sense to me. But handhelds had been out for 20 years, something already. So
easily,
maybe more.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit. I still think it's not the best comparison.
It's not a great comparison, and to make it worse, if you are trying to compare these side by side, you're going to realize that like Vita wasn't supported by PlayStation from start to finish. They gave it a shot. It didn't work out. They sort of jumped ship and sort of let it do its own thing with a niche market. PSVR1 was supported by Sony from start to finish. Like, it's not even over, and we haven't gotten the final.
We still have exclusives coming.
Exactly.
I mean, but that also shows that just having first party or software support and exclusives is not exactly will retain like a viable platform if the hardware is too outdated. So that is a thing as well.
Yeah. I do want to give a shout out to Delirium Drew VR with the $20 tip. Says Merry Christmas without Parole, and to all the loyal Game Cats as well. Drew, Merry Christmas so much. We love you.
Merry Christmas, man. Merry belated Christmas.
Your Long Shadows Game Cat Meow with another 50 Nokia cell phones. Says how Sony can improve PSVR2. Bring back the dang 3D movies to PlayStation 5. Stick a cinema in there.
We'll get there.
Yeah. I hope you.
Like I said, we've got some notes of ourselves to add to this.
Yeah, I agree with that so hard on everything, because it'd be.
You'll like what I have to say. You'll like my suggestion way more, though.
That's what I like to hear.
Although people do really like that 3D screen effect. I mean, I think it's cool for some cutscenes and whatnot. Like if a game has to go into a flat screen cutscene, I do like it when they spruce it up a little bit, make it either 3D or or have some kind of like, stuff going on around it.
So the Vita comparison continues, and I'm kind of glad it does, because every time he says something else about the Vita, it gives me another reason to like shut him down a little bit. He says the PlayStation VR2 has the potential to find itself in the same position as the Vita if the same comes to pass. It's a niche device, and not everybody has been sold on the idea of VR gaming just yet. However, this does not mean the PSVR2 should be treated as a side project. Now, do you have it before I go on another Vita rant? Would you like to say anything?
It's kind of vague, but no, you can go ahead and
Okay.
you can go ahead and go on your rant. I agree with some of that, and I disagree with some of it. So
I swear this is my last Vita rant. I think he's done talking about the Vita. I'll be done talking about the Vita.
Thank God.
Well, I'll be done talking about the Vita in just a minute. I promise
justice
you guys.
for Vita. I know. I mean, this is your moment, man. Take
Really,
it.
I mean, like this bookshelf here is like this is my Vita shelf. Like it's pretty much all Vita. So he basically says it's a niche device, and it shouldn't be treated. PSVR2 shouldn't be treated like a side project. Now, the comparison that I want to make about what's going to be happening with PlayStation VR2 and PlayStation 5 is sort of what Nintendo just demonstrated on a hardware level. Nintendo successfully merged their like kind of flailing console business with their super crazy over the top successful handheld market by creating the Switch, right? One device that does everything. It's like, no, it's your handheld, it's your portable, and it's also your home console, and you can play it however the fuck you want. And I was like, this is beautiful. They're like this, their console thing wasn't working. So they were like, let's just make our portable the console. And
I like where this is going.
This is what Sony's doing, but from a software perspective. They're saying, well, the VR thing isn't working from a hardware perspective. Like it's not selling. We're not getting enough people into it. And so from a software perspective, they're able to say, let's merge the two, right? And so now we're going to spend tens of millions of dollars on these flat screen AAA titles for PlayStation 5, just like they did with the Vita, but then no one bought the Vita stuff. This way they don't have to spend tens of millions of dollars on PSVR 2 titles. They can spend tens of millions of dollars on PlayStation 5 titles and make them hybrid games. So just like Nintendo did on the hardware side, PlayStation's just kind of like dragging VR along behind them, being like, no, you're coming too. We're spending all this money and you're coming too, and just dragging the headset with them and saying it's all going to work together because we've designed it that way. And so I think
it's a brilliant strategy.
He said it shouldn't be treated like a side project, and it's not. It's just an alternative way to play the games that you're already buying. It is, at its core, just another television. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
I think it'd be I think that's the best winning strategy you have. And I think there is a mention of games. So when we get into that, I'll have more to say on that.
Nick Mulo, the Game Cat, with the $50 tip. God damn it, Nick. It says, not that big of a fan of Christmas, but it's National Fruitcake Day. So that's kind of a big deal. So happy National Fruitcake Day. Okay, maybe I was busy on Christmas Eve too. I'm assuming every day is National Something Day. We got to figure out all the cool ones and make a list. Nick, thank you so much. We really love you. Also, Justin Credible with the $10 tip. You want to read this one off because he's your dude?
Yes, that's my dude, Justin Credible with $10. Thank you so much, man. It says, happy holidays, gents. Happy holidays to you, Justin. VR is taking off this Christmas. Super excited for the near future, especially with my most anticipated NG VR game coming to fruition. Oh, the possibilities. What is your most... You can't say that.
No, he didn't
and
say
then not
game.
Tell us what your... What?
He didn't say game.
Oh, most anticipated NGVR coming. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, man. 2022's our year, man. Only several weeks away from being announced.
I mean, totally several weeks, right? Even if it's 50 weeks away.
Several weeks away.
It's mere weeks away. Oh, my God. Yeah, for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning of the show, I changed the thumbnail like at the absolute last second.
We're weeks away from a reveal. It's like, yeah,
I was
20
15,
weeks.
20 weeks is weeks. Like for hundreds of weeks we've waited. This is nothing. Thank you very much, Justin. I don't know where we're at. Oh, okay. So it says, with continuous support from Sony, including a steady stream of first-party releases that show off the power of PSVR 2, the device can be a great success that satisfies both Sony and gamers. Building a player base for the system will also require Sony to price the PSVR2 reasonably. If things go wrong, gamers could be left with a rather expensive blindfold with not many games to play on it.
Yeah, I held off at first. I've always liked some of their experimental tech, and I held off for a while for the PSVR one because I was a day one adopter of the PSI toy and the Move controllers, and they had like Sports Champions, which was cool, but they had like that and like I think like one other game for like years, and then it wasn't until years and years later I feel like that they finally released some additional games for it. But then with PSVR, like they kind of came out. They had Resident Evil 7, Rush of Blood. They had Skyrim VR, Farpoint, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. Like they are clearly supporting this with software, and like I've said before, the software is, I think, 70, I would say like 70 to 80% of the selling factor for any console or peripheral or accessory, whatever. It's got to have the games to back it up. That is absolutely crucial. So games do it, but as we've seen with PSVR 1, it's not the entire thing that it needs. There's lots of things at play here for PSVR 2 to be successful.
This is the only time I think in the entire article he mentions price.
No,
No, he talks about price later on too.
yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. Because yeah, I personally, as long as everything that you need to play is in the box and there's no confusion, no other shit to buy later. You have your PlayStation 5 already, and then you buy your PSVR 2, and you're good to go. As long as there's nothing else that you need, like extra battery packs and weird ass straps to make the
no
make it feel
accessories
better.
for the accessory. You know what I mean?
As long as you get everything, then it's like, even if it's like $500, and I know that's going to be kind of expensive. A lot of people are hoping it's like $300 or $400. Even if it's $500, I think that it's like it's kind of good to go as long as it blows people away. That might be a little high, but
yeah, I actually don't know if I'm confusing the last article with this one in terms of mentioning the price, but price will definitely be a really important factor as well.
It will be, but I want to make sure that I hope that their marketing is spot on enough to let people know that this is like a premium headset and differentiate itself from everything else that's on the market right now, and really show people the differences that PSVR 2 are going to make, and then they can justify the price. Cecil Miko in the chat with the $5 tip says, PSA, for those who are concerned about the PSVR cable, I don't notice the cable with the Kiwi Design Pro VR Cable Management V2 on Amazon on the ceiling.
Oh, so yeah, some people like to use the thing where you, I don't know if that's like an actual, is that an ad?
Yeah,
or is that a real?
Cecil Miko.
You work for Kiwi Design,
also known as CEO of Kiwi Design Limited. That's the cheapest way you can get advertisement. It's funny because I just got an email from Kiwi being like, "Hey, we'd love to advertise this stuff on your channel." Also, they sent me. They sent me a pulley system, the exact thing that he's talking about, and I just can't with my ceiling install it the way that I need to. But the pulley, it's all super high quality. So I mean, this isn't technically a paid endorsement, but they did send me one, and Cecil's not lying, man. It's if you can screw things into your ceiling, it's actually a great cable management system. So. Well played, Cecil. Well played. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm sure he's a great cat. We also got Waleed Saeed Faridi with the Canadian $10 tip. Says, "Hi, Bryan and AJ. May peace be upon both of you. It's up here. It's making its way down. Soon it'll be upon me. I keep up the good work. I'm excited for the PSVR 2 reveal GAMESCAST. Please share any bit of insider info related to the reveal or the hardware." AJ, mere weeks away.
I look. The truth is, man, there's a lot that is best left for the surprise, right? There's lots of cool info, lots of stuff, but we want the official reveal. We wanna enjoy this moment all together. And there's really, really exciting stuff ahead. But it's really gonna be best if we all like kind of experience it at once. You don't want it spoiled. It's like, no, you don't want Spider-Man spoiled, right? Like, you want to go see Spider-Man. Also not a sponsor.
I don't really care. You can spoil Spider-Man. I don't really care. Like I've had 3 people spoil Spider-Man already, and they're like, "Can I spoil it?" I was like, "Yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to go see it because I do." Because the fact is I was gonna
don't say anything.
No,
don't
I'm not.
spoil it.
Spoil shit, man. But like I wanted to go see Ghostbusters in the theater, and I still haven't done that. Right? I wanted to go see Raccoon City, Welcome to Raccoon City in the theater. I didn't do that. You know why? Because now it's on Amazon, and I could watch it at home. And on top of that, I heard it's terrible. I was going to go see Matrix Reloaded in the theater, and I didn't do that. And I'm just like, and Spider-Man was sort of like lowest on the list for me. That said, I'm halfway through the newest Matrix movie, and dude, I don't know what to think. This movie's fucking all over the place, and half of it I really feel like was shot on an iPhone 4 because I'm like, what is this slow motion effect they're using? This isn't bullet time. This is like fucking weirdness, man. Like it feels very cheap. But hopefully it gets better. I don't have high hopes. We'll see.
Anyways, back to the article, Brian.
Oh, dude, talking about the Matrix movie is way more fun than this article. Sorry.
I watched the original Matrix last night.
It's so good.
Yeah. But anyways, there's another day for that. Another time.
Cecil says, not an ad. So now we can move on.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what an ad would want you to think, though, wouldn't it?
Right. This is how Facebook does their shit. In the world of, so the next headline is niche titles geared toward PSVR2. In the world of gaming, players have gotten used to the concept of ports, remakes, and remasters. This can be good because it allows many games a second chance at life. However, the amount of these unoriginal games being released can cause fatigue at times.
I kind of agree with that. Like, the thing is we haven't had enough remakes and remasters and stuff yet. But there's so many games that we grew up on that we identify with the PlayStation brand or just in general, even if it's third party or whatnot, that really can get new life with VR, and that's what I'm talking about. That's something to me is really important for being a headset seller. Is stuff like these big name IPs, stuff like Gran Turismo series and Grand Theft Auto. These are going to be big system sellers, but that shouldn't be. I agree that shouldn't be the only thing. Like you want fresh new IPs built from the ground up for VR. You want a lot of independent developers bringing, really stretching and pushing the limits of what the technology can do. And I think all of these are important. They're all important. But I do think remakes, remasters in VR, as well as potentially hybrid games, are going to be what gets people to buy headsets. And that's the number one goal, first and foremost, is to sell headsets.
Yeah, I really think so too. And I think that, I see both sides of this coin because honestly, I've been the guy jumping up and down and saying I want BioShock in VR. I've been saying it since the first time I tried VR. And like I'm good with like BioShock 1 if that's what it takes to get BioShock in VR. Like I don't need a BioShock 4 built from the ground up for VR. I mean, yes, it would be great, but I envision that more of a hybrid game, right? Something that like we'll be able to play on both when it finally gets here. But if we've gotten remakes and remasters of all of these games for so long now, like every single generation, it's like, oh, here's this game, here's BioShock again, and here's BioShock again, and here's BioShock again, and I've honestly been kind of holding off on BioShock to playing it again because it was so magical the first time, and I'm trying to forget as much as I can. And if you know me, you know that that's only going to take. Forgetting the entire game is mere minutes away. Like I'm always on the verge of forgetting everything. So I think that BioShock in VR will be like the first time it gets remade that I'm like super duper interested in playing again, right? Because then I get to experience it in the best possible way. And
yeah, it's super important, man. Like I said, it doesn't have to be like this is everything. Like I agree there could be a fatigue that can start to settle in. But I was the person that there's a lot of games I grew up playing that didn't age very well. And so I was one of these people online jumping up and down for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Finally happened after 20 years. And was like all about Crash Bandicoot remake, and that was a big success. And these are key things. But then it starts to get into like, okay, we're remaking Croc, and it's like, all right, guys, now this is too much. It is kind of picky and choosy, and you got to be very selective about these things.
I do, I do have an issue with the idea that there's like remake fatigue. It was sort of the same thing with Telltale games. Telltale was like, we're making our Game of Thrones game, and we're making a Batman game, and we're making a Fables game, and we're making this, and it was like boom, 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 boom. And everyone's like, how could we possibly play all these? And I was like, don't. Like, you play the ones you're interested in, right? If everything gets remade in VR, then you only have to play the ones that you're interested in, the ones that you've been waiting for ever since VR was a thing. You don't have to play them all. Like, so I don't agree that even remake fatigue is a thing. I think everything should be remade. Keep everything in the current.
I think where it becomes problematic is if there's less innovation, less new IPs happening, and in favor of remakes. And I think it's something you can get away with for a while, but at some point you got to start developing and innovating new stuff.
Well, you need to make new games so that you can remake those again years later. It's like
games these days don't need to be remade and remastered as much as old games do.
Well, I would agree with you. Except remaking them for VR would be the only step that I'd be interested in. I'm like, I don't care if you're remaking a game that was initially played in 720p at 30 FPS and now you're remaking it at 4K 60 FPS with ray tracing. It's like, that doesn't interest me even in the slightest. Not in the slightest, but if you're going to take those games and put them in VR, suddenly I'm interested.
Inside the game, right, and definitely changes up big time.
Waleed Saeed Faridi with another Canadian $5 tip. Thank you, Waleed. Says, towards the end of the show or another GameScast, can you guys also talk about Oculus Cambria and how it can impact PSVR2? I don't.
What the heck? What is Oculus Cambria?
Well, I was going to say, like, we're not the two guys most educated on that, and as far as I know, Cambria is the PC, like their next PC Oculus headset, right? It's not going to be, or this is just a super top of the line one. I don't know. Somebody in chat, tell me about that. But also, this is why we're not really discussing it, because
short answer,
Oculus doesn't really concern us.
Short answer, it'll have to, if it's a PC only device, it'll be competing probably with, it'll be dominating the high end PC VR thing. But that's, that's a much smaller market than what Quest and PSVR2 are going to be.
Yeah, and if it is, because again, I am very confused on this because it was said in passing during that whole super long Facebook event. If it is the standalone, super high-powered one, then I'm just like, as always, it comes down to the games, and I'm just, if the PlayStation exclusives aren't going to be on there, then it's still hard for me to care. But then they're going to have their own exclusives, so it's just one of those things, man. It's like, you know what? Yeah, let's save it for another time, because I want to get educated on it before I just start like spouting random opinions.
Right.
And I have no idea. So I'd love to talk about it eventually, though. AJ, that has really thrown me for a loop here. Okay, cost fatigue, got it.
PSVR2, the PSVR2 should not serve as a platform.
The PSVR2 should not serve as a platform for porting existing games. Rather, it should be a catalyst for new and innovative games to be released. Mere ports will never be able to take advantage of VR gaming in the same way that a game built for the platform from the ground up can. Games like Astrobot Rescue Mission have illustrated how impressive VR gaming can be when a studio gives a platform the attention it deserves and crafts something to take advantage of all the strengths and unique possibilities that VR gaming offers.
One thing that he's missing here is that people will prefer to play some remakes and whatnot over some brand new IPs and new games. People will like the experience. Like I said, people this year, take Quest for example, they all cared about Resident Evil 4, and that made a lot more noise, even with the imperfections of the port, over a built from the ground up for VR. So if it's got to go, but there's a risk doing a AAA project built from the ground up for VR. So I think this is kind of the bridge the gap way to do this.
Yeah, I agree. I always thought that hybrid games and ports of big AAA flat screen games were going to be the way to get people into VR, and a lot of those studios, the same studios that don't say 2K is going to give us a BioShock port of the original, then it's probably not an expensive venture for them to do it, right? And add VR elements. So you, instead of like walking up to something and hitting X, you walk up and you actually push the button on the vending machine, right? It's like they make something and then they start figuring things out in VR for themselves. Sort of the same way that Naughty Dog remade The Last of Us for PlayStation 4 to kind of come to grips with the PlayStation 4 hardware. This is a great way that's not super financially draining on a studio to get into VR, learn the ropes, and put something out that people are interested in that will probably sell, and then they can start working on their original VR game, or again a hybrid game. Like if BioShock 4 is going to be whatever, then they can have elements in it that make the game feel like they were built from the ground up, even if the game is going to be playable on flat screen. I feel like I just keep going off on like these really long rants. I don't know. I got a little AJ in me today. So,
Go ahead.
Okay.
With
Sony's recent acquisition of Firespray, a studio with plenty of experience in VR gaming, PlayStation may be getting some well-crafted VR games soon. This bodes well for the PSVR2 and suggests that with the new device will come genuinely new experiences.
Yeah, I mean, that's one studio, though. There's a lot more.
Right.
There's a lot more that's going to be going on, like we said before. Games are going to be a huge selling factor, and it's going to be a combination of remakes. It's going to be hybrid games. It's going to be first-party VR-only exclusive games. It'll be impressive. It'll be very impressive if they can make some exclusives. You take Half-Life Alyx and bring that to PSVR 2. That's like a PSVR 2 only that doesn't work on PS5 non-VR. Boom, a bunch of headsets sold. So it'll be interesting to see if there's more projects like that can have that big of an impact that require the PSVR 2 headset. So they're going to want to throw some of those in there as well.
You know, what's funny to me is every time I start thinking about, this hybrid initiative where it's, Sony wants these VR games these hybrid games to feel like they were built from the ground up for VR. All I can think of is that instead of being developed as a flat screen game, and then they have to go in and figure out how to make your hands move and how to pick up items instead of hitting an X button or something along those lines. All I can think is that I think a lot of these games are going to be built the other way around, right? Is that they're going to be built very, very with a lot of interactivity in mind. And then they go, okay, well, we just have to kind of strip out some of this stuff and add the X button and have these automated interactions pop up every single time the player wants to do something in the flat screen version. And I think if you think about games that way, and if you think about the future of VR that way, this whole hybrid model starts making a whole lot more sense. And instead of, we have to change the way everything works, it's like, no, that's just the way that it was built. So it was actually, they were built from the ground up for VR, and then some shit was chopped out for the flat screen version. I don't know. I'd be interested to see if that's true or not. That's how that'll go down.
I've mentioned a million times great examples of games that have converted to VR and seem like, wow, this has so many qualities of a game that it feels like it was built from the ground up for VR that would really work. It's going to be kind of a game by game basis. Some will just be flip the switch and ready to go, and others will require a little bit more retooling.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, I think, is 100% the perfect example of that, and I think you've brought that up before as an example plenty of times.
Yeah, I didn't mention it again on purpose because I'm I don't want to repeat myself too much.
Nice. There's no form of gaming as immersive as VR gaming. The kind
True.
of
Very true.
Are we just fact checking every sentence now?
I totally agree. I thought PS4 was very immersive. First time I played Bloodborne, I was so immersed. And then I played VR, and I'm like, yep, doesn't get more immersive than this. Maybe the next best thing is plugging a cable into the back of my head.
Yeah,
Matrix style. That's the only more immersive form.
I hate to say it, I'm fucking ready for it, man. You give me the cable, I'll just fucking shove it right in. Hopefully, I don't even need the socket, man. We'll just see if it connects to anything. The kind of experiences it offers simply cannot be recreated with traditional screen gaming. Playing Wipeout 2048 on television may offer some high-speed fun, but only in VR can it put players in the cockpit and have them briefly believing that they have well and truly been transported into a new world. Why briefly? I play that game for hours at a time and smash into every wall that comes my way. I don't know. The downside to VR gaming is that it can occasionally result in motion sickness. Some players are more prone to it than others, but it affects enough people for it to be a problem worth considering. It is believed that motion sickness is caused by mixed signals received by the brain. The VR headset tells the brain that it's in motion, yet the muscles in the body signal to the brain that no motion is occurring. The result is a confused brain that produces motion sickness. A similar effect occurs to some people when sitting in the backseat of a car.
Yes. So I don't get motion sickness, but I 100% agree. One of the most obvious things, this is probably the best point that he's made in this article, is finding a solution for motion sickness. I don't think that's going to be very hard. Plus, Sony has already said and mentioned things like this. We've also seen patents, several patents hinting at they are doing all these things like the little motor in the headset that causes like a shake. And, while that could be something that could potentially be used for just a cool immersive feature, it could also, their studies, apparently, according to the patent, show that it is also linked to reducing motion sickness. I think that is a huge important thing to tackle. Even if it's something that we're like, it's not something we deal with, I still think it's really, really important for others. Absolutely.
There was studies. God, what was it? It says research. This is, I think, quote from Road to VR. Researchers from the National Taiwan University, National Chengchi University, and Texas A&M say that haptic feedback delivered to the head directly from a VR headset can significantly reduce motion sickness related to full locomotion. And if it's as simple as that to help eliminate motion sickness, I mean, this is going to be awesome, right? Because
on the flip side, oh, good.
Well, I mean, I was just going to say, it's plenty of people who suffer from motion sickness play VR anyway, right? They just either push through it and deal with it, and then they have a miserable time, and then they associate this miserable time with motion sickness, or they put on all the blinders and they put on the comfort settings, and they have to teleport, click, click, click around the world, right? And it's like, I don't feel like those people are getting the same experience that you and I are, right? I mean, right. I definitely have suffered from motion sickness before, depending on, if I play on an empty stomach, if I'm kind of tired, if I've over caffeinated, empty stomach, like whatever it is, man. Like sometimes a strange combination of things can affect how you feel in a game. And so I've felt it before, and it's not fun. And if I had to teleport around worlds to play VR games, I don't know if I'd be interested. Yeah. And so I think that this is really impacted some people's first impressions of VR or their second or third or fourth impressions. And this is going to change that.
On the flip side, Sony also has to be aware that some of these comfort features that they're enforcing also cause motion sickness to some people, or discomfort, I will say. I don't get motion sickness, but teleport only, click turning only, this stuff causes me, because I do it at such a rapid pace, and so it's like click, 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 click. This stuff causes me nausea and discomfort. So on the flip side, I have no problem with motion comfort, motion sickness prevention, but there has to be, an option to turn off all that stuff as well, because it's seriously, it's rough it's very jarring going from one to the other constantly.
Yeah, it sucks. Like Sony's so intent on making sure that nobody gets sick in VR that they're either going to frustrate a bunch of people who are trying to figure out, we need I know we've said this before, but I think it's really, really important that with PSVR2 we come up with a new glossary, a new set of definitions, standard terms that we all accept. Things like click turning, people use like 7 different expressions for click turning. The people don't use teleportation or full locomotion all the time. So and then blinders are a whole nother thing, right? Blinders, vignettes, and then if you go into Wipeout, man, trying to figure out the best settings for Wipeout, near impossible, because I don't understand half of what they're saying in the menu screen. So like, I really do think one way that PSVR2 and maybe VR in general we can all move forward together is just come up with a set of terms that we all agree on.
Yeah.
And just use those from now on, because then it makes the option screen much easier to deal with, or just have presets in your options instead of having to go through each one individually, which you can. It would be nice to customize it. Go have presets. I don't suffer from motion sickness at all. I suffer from a little bit of motion sickness. I suffer from a ton of motion sickness. Like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And hey, I always pick option 1. I always pick option 2. I always pick option 3.
The PS5 has presets and preferences that you can enable, like if you want more performance or if you want the higher resolution. Like a preset thing like that. That way you don't have to set it for every single game. I do hope to see a lot more like standardized features such as this, where I could just from my main menu flip it on to, hey, I don't have any motion sickness, and every game automatically gets set to the what I prefer.
That would be really, really good. I would love
just
that.
the quality of life features. Yeah.
The next paragraph is all about how to avoid motion sickness at home, so we can skip that. But then it says, already Sony has demonstrated that PSVR2 will be a good improvement from the PlayStation VR. This has been seen with the reveal of the PSVR2 controllers, which are orb-shaped and and designed to allow players to move their hands freely, much like the DualSense. The PSVR2 controllers will have adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. With the amount of innovation Sony's showing off, it seems like the company is aware of some of the shortcomings of the original PSVR and is working hard on producing a truly next-generational experience with the PlayStation VR2.
Yep. So, some of the things we agreed with, like I said, I think their best point here was, having a solution for motion sickness. It's not like a big surprise. There's so much more that they could do, though. They're just saying how PlayStation can improve PSVR 2. Like, good God, there's a huge, huge list of things other than games and motion sickness. Like, there's a lot of stuff. And from top to bottom, there's quality of life features. I think number one, let's go ahead. If you're ready, Brian, why don't we go into what we can add to this?
Yeah, kick it off, man. Absolutely.
To try and make some marketing. Their biggest problem with PSVR, I think, has been marketing. And in one way, they haven't. It's been their efforts of marketing. And in another way, it's been that PSVR has not always been the most marketable thing as well. But even when they've had opportunities, they didn't stick the landing very well. Things like I've said before, showing Astrobot they announced Astrobot in a PS blog.
Yeah.
And they had Trover Saves the Universe on an E3 stage. And I was just like banging my head against the wall. Like, what are you doing? Astrobot looks so incredible. And I can't believe you're showing Trover Saves the Universe. No offense to Justin Roiland. Love the dude. He's a big supporter of VR. But that game failed miserably. And that was so obvious to me that was going to happen. And how could me, as just a simple consumer, only like 1 year experience in VR at all, being able to predict? I think that they could definitely take a page out of Oculus's book here. Oculus has done a great job, really aggressive, strong marketing, and I think the good news is that PSVR 2 will be way more marketable than PSVR 1 was. So I think they'll be able to double down on the marketing for it and really improve in that sector.
Yeah. I think we're probably just gonna I feel
What's your thoughts on their marketing?
I know. I'm just thinking about all the marketing that we've seen for PlayStation VR 1 and all the different ways they tried, and they probably didn't see a whole lot of great results from any of those. But man, I really hope that they have an ace up their sleeve for this. Hopefully, they've been watching. Because it does need to be improved quality and improved quantity. Everywhere you look, you see Facebook, and everywhere I don't watch TV. Like traditional TV, everything I do is through streaming services. And somehow I couldn't avoid seeing that Resident Evil 4 Oculus Quest commercial like 1,000 times over the last 2 months.
Yeah.
So they really do need to get better about, like their product placement and everything else. And now that they have a product that is worth, really spending a lot of money, marketing money on, we'll see what they do. I do want to give a shout out to Hugh Guyver before this gets too far away from us with the Australian $10. It says belated Merry Christmas to PlayStation VR without Parole and all the GameCats. 2022 is going to be a great year for VR. Fire, fire, fire.
Oh yes.
Yes,
it is.
Say hi to Cousin Mac
shout
for
out
us.
to Cousin Mac.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that one, and I know that we have like a list of other ones that we want to talk about. And I'm going to totally go off rails here just for a second and say that
Okay.
I really, to improve PlayStation VR2, I would really like two SKUs at launch, one wireless and one wired, just to keep everybody happy, right? It's like I've always been like, one wire's not going to bother me, I'm totally fine. But man, for all the people who have been spoiled by wireless and really want PlayStation 5 or PlayStation VR2 to utilize the console and be wireless and kind of best of both worlds, we know the tech is possible, and I just hope that Sony's thinking about delivering two SKUs, and obviously there'd be a big price difference for that, but I'd be very interested to see if they could make that happen.
That would be that'd be pretty cool. I that's always something I thought maybe would come later on.
Yeah,
Because let the technology develop, let it get a little bit less expensive. I could see us getting a wireless PSVR Pro model or something like years from now. But it's obviously not something I think the first model is going to be or whatever. I think we still are a ways away from that. But like you said, the technology is all in place. So yeah, it'd be totally cool.
Satan's neighbor with the Canadian $5 tip says the most important improvement needed for the PlayStation VR2 is drink holders. Clearly. Clearly. Yeah, I would. I know we're joking, but I would love to be able to drink coffee without having to lift my headset up. It'd be great.
The next thing is backwards compatibility. I think
Yeah.
that would be, that's kind of a hard thing to say how it would improve over the first one. But that is just something I'll throw out there. We have a whole thing talking about backwards compatibility, and there's a strong rumor hinting at that could be a possibility. So I think that would. I know there's a lot of people that didn't get PSVR 1, are really excited about PSVR 2, and want backwards compatibility. They still want to access the library. I've said before, I think you need at least 10-20% of the current library, like our must-haves. Yeah, I think that's really, really important. If not, at least get remasters and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's not really a way to improve it over the first one, but I actually think you're wrong. I think it would be the worst thing about having a PlayStation VR 1 at launch was like every week being like, please, 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 please let there be new VR games on the store. Please, I'm playing every single title that's coming my way because I just can't get enough, right? And to be able to say, hey, if you haven't played PSVR 1 and you're just jumping in right here at launch PSVR 2, then here's 500 games that are available to you right now. It's like that,
Yeah.
to have that
Yeah.
wealth of games, even if they do feel outdated compared to what's happening on PlayStation VR 2 proper. I think
Yeah.
I think it's super essential to kind of have that back catalog to be able to access, so that at no point either like anybody's like, oh, there's no games, because I mean that's we just don't ever want to hear that. You never
Yeah.
want consumers to have money that they want to throw at you and then not give them a reason to actually throw them money at you.
Totally. The next thing, services. This is something that they can do. We care about games, and the hardware. But I do think there is a huge, major opportunity. I would be absolutely, my mind would absolutely be blown if they don't have some services already in mind. And things like, and I'm sure they already do, things like a movie theater app where you can rent movies and watch movies with your friends in VR. Some people, Xbox, have said that VR is an isolated experience, but that's not true when there's multiplayer games and you're separated from your loved ones and can't be with them. But with VR, you can, and I think there's a lot of people, myself included, that are in that situation where it's something really special when you can't be with that person you want to be with, and you can spend that in a virtual avatar or whatever in VR with your friends, your loved ones, your family, whoever, and have some service tied to it where you can either go see a movie or something together. You can also, there's a pandemic, so this is something that is just practical at this point. But not just movie theaters, sporting events. Going, maybe you don't have the money or it's not the most accessible thing to go see your sports team, your favorite sports team at the time, and if they have something that can put you in the stadium to experience that and with you and your friends, that would be really, really cool. Or music concerts.
Yeah.
I think the combination of services, even stuff like Netflix. The truth is that Netflix was at one point like the largest. PlayStation was the largest place where Netflix was watched for the longest time, and so people, even though the hardcore gamers like us care about these games, these services are very important. And I think a virtual theater, a virtual sporting event, a music concert, museum, all sorts of stuff would go a long way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Like I think I've said a ton of times, sometimes joking and sometimes not, that all I care about is VR gaming, right? If you want me to use, you've made a joke about doing your taxes in VR. I was like, I don't care. If somebody creates an app so you can do surgery in VR, like none of that interests me whatsoever. But the social aspect of VR really, really, really shouldn't be understated. Like being able to just put your headset on, be in a different world, walk outside and go hey, get your friends together and let's go to the movie theater and go sit in a row together, and be able to shoot the shit during the movie and watch a movie together. This whole social aspect is actually really, really important. And so, and this kind of leans in a little bit to the bigger prospect of what these movie apps and everything else could be tied together with. And that's an updated VR version of PlayStation Home, right? It's kind of like PlayStation's own metaverse. Here's my apartment.
Right.
I'm with microtransactions. I'm purchasing, furniture and decorating it. So if people come over, they're like, oh, look at that. And my platinum trophies are up on a wall. I think that wall would be, people say this all the time. I want to display my platinum trophies. I'm like, I only have 42. And I'm like, that's a lot of fucking space. so maybe it could be rotating or something. I could just spin them.
But you basically nailed the last one I was going to say, which is a free social app, and then maybe you do it, or it's a paid one, and it's just everything in there is free. But I think the practical way is you probably you do a free PlayStation Home style social app, and then you can spend money to expand it and enhance it. That's going to be a hard one to compete in, but it's just like you said, it's just like its own little metaverse of stuff and its own little world. Like welcome to PlayStation World, where you get all your custom stuff and you get to socialize with people, and there's movie events, there's all sorts of stuff, and have its own little Sony metaverse. And I think that would be a huge thing that they could take advantage of. They have movies. They have Uncharted movie coming out. They have Spider-Man that just came out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff on the Sony label that could be utilized. And I just think that would be the cherry on top. After all the other features and improvements we get, to have these services on the side, I think would keep people engaged with the headset longer.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Rec Room is doing it kind of perfectly.
Rec Room is a perfect example. I spent Christmas with friends in Rec Room, and yeah, it was amazing. There was ski slopes, and there was fire like these cabin logs, log cabins or whatever, with fireplaces and Christmas decorations, and they looked really good. And yeah, it's like this stuff would be amazing.
Well, and that's absolutely it, man. I used Rec Room for free for years, and then finally, we were doing this Halloween thing. We were doing a Halloween stream on your channel, and you're like, "Come along and hang out." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so before that, I went and spent $7.99, I think, on a Halloween costume, right? And I still wear it to this day. I think it's fucking awesome. It's the best thing I've ever bought in any game. And so if PlayStation Home VR was free to use. And then they were like, "Hey, I mean, that's the kind of place where I want my character to look cool, right? I'm going to spend hundreds, if not thousands, of hours in this kind of metaverse. I am absolutely so excited to make my character look cool, make my apartment look cool, and if it requires a few bucks on my side, then I get it because I'm going to spend thousands of hours with this thing. So, yeah, dude, and that's just a few of the ways that PlayStation VR2 can be improved.
To be continued.
To be continued. Yeah, I mean, we're never going to run out of things to talk about as far as this subject. But as
I
far as this
definitely
article
feel like
is
these are
concerned,
all pretty critical stuff. Yeah.
I think so. And I really hope that Sony doesn't come along and say this all made perfect sense to you, but to us, we didn't even think about it. It's not like, it wasn't even on our minds. We just wanted to make a nice headset. And we're like, well, I want the nice headset, but I also want all this other shit too. We don't even have folders on PlayStation 5 yet, so I'm like a little nervous about the whole home
I
VR
know.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of those I think can make it in. Some of them won't, but we'll just have to wait and see. I hope they nail as much of this as they can, though, and it would be perfection.
Yeah, give us something primitive at launch. Like, it doesn't have to be the full scale of the whole virtual world, right? It's like, just give us something primitive, like our apartment or whatever, and a menu to connect with friends, something along those lines. And then slowly, make it a little more immersive. And, we'll take the updates as they come, and we'll be really excited about those, I'm sure. Mad Max the Metaverse GameCat VR with the $10 tip says, good news for VR. The most given present this Christmas was Quest 2. Lots of new VR users. New people means new interest in PSVR. 2 options, wireless, tethered, just like they brought out 2 PS5s. Yeah, man. So VR interest has at an all-time high. That is absolutely great news. Like I said, Facebook doing all of Sony's hard work for them, getting people into headsets, and that is awesome news.
Yeah. I think it'll be Facebook and Sony leading the way in the VR market by far. I don't even think there'll be much competition.
Just look at Cambria. Whatever that means.
As soon as I find out what the hell it is, you got it.
We're totally going to talk about that. No, again, that was said in passing so quickly that I'm like, oh, fuck, I totally blanked. AJ, is it time for 20 questions?
It is, and I believe it's my turn, right? And
Your turn
I have
to pick a game.
pick.
And you have a game? Oh,
I did it while you were going on your 20-minute rants.
Sweet. That's secretly why I was doing, because I was like, AJ hasn't picked out a game yet. I'm giving him some
That's
time.
why I secretly didn't say anything.
That's awesome. All right, man. Well, that means that me and all of you cats out there, we've got 20 yes or no questions to figure out what PSVR game AJ's testing us with. We also have only 6 minutes, so I'm going to put that clock up on the counter right now. This is from Timertopia. If you ever want a cool clock to use in a video, go to Timertopia on YouTube. Not a paid sponsorship, but they are nice enough to let us use the clock. So got to kind of pimp that out every so often. Gatorade 23, the HTO despising GameCat with a $10 tip. Didn't say anything. Thank you so much.
You can actually find last second, because I think this one might have already been done before. Now I don't remember.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to read this other tip too, and then so you let me know when you're ready.
I'm
Cecil,
good. Yeah, I'm good.
Cecil, CEO of Kiwi Products Interactive. Cecil, hopefully that you lose that nickname by the time we see you next. $5 tip says, I'm currently trying to earn cute Christmas hats from a recent update by January 1st in the Kena Bridge of Spirits PlayStation 5. This game would look amazing in PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah,
Dude,
I know Kena. Our good friend Paradise Decay played some Kena on Vorpix or something and was really blown away by it. And
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Dude, listen, it's just every other week that goes by, somebody's like, oh, one person out there modded BioShock and put it into VR. One person out there modded Horizon and put it into VR. One person out there modded Kena and put it into. It's like if one person that doesn't even have the source code to all this shit can make this stuff happen, like Sony as a company better be fucking making this shit happen. That's all I gotta say. Thank you, Cecil. We appreciate you, and I promise I'll stop calling you the CEO of Kiwi. All right, are you ready, AJ?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna put the clock up, and let's go, cats. Does it have move support?
It does have move support.
Oh, we got a yes right off the bat. I'm not even gonna ask about the other controllers yet. Is it spooky?
No, I'd say no.
No. Okay.
Some people maybe would find it, but it's not really. No.
Okay, so not Doom 3. Actually, Doom 3 doesn't have move support either, so. Would you call this a narrative-driven game?
Yes, but that's like not what you would think about it at all. Like that won't help you at all.
Okay. Let's see. Does it have multiplayer?
It does not have multiplayer.
Okay. Thank you guys for all the suggestions in the chat. I'm kind of scanning here as I go. Is it a puzzle game?
It is not a puzzle game.
No good, Mark.
5.
Does it have? I mean, is there a lot of shooting in this game?
There is a lot of shooting in this game.
Okay, guys, let's take a beat. It's not very spooky. It uses the moves and there's a lot of shooting. There's no multiplayer. There's a narrative, but that's not going to really help us.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty much not narrative driven. Yeah.
Is it? Do you move in this game? Is there movement?
There is movement in this game.
Okay. For some reason, I had Shooty Fruity on the brain. I know we had that at some point, but okay. Oh man, I'm thinking raw data. I don't know where you guys are at with this, but I've got raw data on the brain. Has this developer made other PSVR games?
They have made other PSVR games.
Okay. Is it developed by Servios?
It's not developed by Servios.
Oh man, we were going down the wrong track. I was going down the wrong track. I'm blaming it all on you guys. We were doing this together. How dare you let me down? Let's see. London Studio hasn't made other PSVR games, although London Heist is sort of something.
Yeah, PSVR Worlds is another game. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Does this game have DLC that's got aim support?
DLC that has aim support,
or additional modes that were added later with aim support?
No to part of that. No, this game does not have DLC with aim support.
Okay.
That was added later.
Does the game have aim support? I'm
It
trying
does
to
have
figure out.
aim support.
There we go.
That's number 11.
Number 11. Okay. Okay, so guys, there is movement. It does have aim support. There's not a lot of games have aim support, so this is going to help us out. No multiplayer, so that gets rid of Evasion. It gets rid of Arizona Sunshine. That gets rid of After the Fall. Gets rid of Dick Wild 2. No Locomotion means no Dick Wild 1. Crisis Brigade. There's no, that's teleportation, so both of those games are out. Come on, guys, help me think of.
Forget the story-driven thing, guys.
Yeah, help me think of other AIM games, because we've got 2 minutes to go, and I think it's Alvo doesn't have any story though, no narrative at all, so no Alvo, and the Alvo's got multiplayer. Unearthing Mars 2 would be a great one, but there's no that's also teleportation, node to node. Doom VR is scary. He said not spooky.
I said some people said it would be scary. Think it would be scary, but yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Did this game come out this year?
This game did not come out this year.
All right, so that gets rid of Doom 3 anyway. Frack doesn't have aim support. And this game got DLC. Wait a minute. Did you just stream this game on Saturday or on Christmas? Because did you stream the Christmas DLC of this game on?
I did not stream this game.
No, that would have been great. That would have been Borderlands 2. It would have been awesome. Damn it. Farpoint has multiplayer.
13.
God damn it. Is it sci-fi based? Like sci-fi setting?
It's pretty sci-fi, yeah.
Okay. Oh God, I don't know if I'm gonna get this, guys. I'm trying to think of. It can't be boxed in. Come on, guys. Aim support, aim support, aim support. Ooh, Sniper Elite's a good one. But Sniper Elite came out this year as well.
Chat has definitely said it like 8 times.
Oh no, I can't scroll back. That's against the rules. Oh no, who? No Man's Sky doesn't have aim support. Warzone, no. Wait, Warzone, no narrative. Frack doesn't have aim support. Frack doesn't have aim support. Guys, I'm so lost. I'm so sorry if you guys said it a bunch of times, and I'm not gonna get it.
Guess something.
Is it Dreams?
It is not Dreams. You have already forgotten that another Doom game exists because it's Doom Virtual Fucking Reality.
And I do feel awful for this because I saw Doom VFR go by in the chat so frequently.
It was funny.
And what kept me from? And what kept?
The first thing it's just Doom 3. It's understandable.
Man,
Doom 3 has just entirely replaced. The first thing you said, you were like, does it have aim move support? I was like, yes. You're like, Doom 3 doesn't have move support. So I can't believe I was like, you got awfully close right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, you were close the entire time.
My apologies to everybody in the chat who was screaming Doom VFR and like
that is so funny.
Yeah, I don't know what kept me away from it. I think I just kind of kept Doom, kind of put Doom in that horror category, and I just like
Tom Fleshier Gaming says, "Shit, how did I miss that?" I know because he was literally talking about Doom VFR right as we were starting, and I was like, "Shut up, Tom."
No, the cats got it, and I did not. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry.
Chat got it right. You guys all got it right as far as
you guys kick major ass. I'm sorry that I didn't listen better. I promise I'll be a better listener. It's my New Year's resolution. I mean that and like eating way less pizza, probably. All right, you guys. Listen, I want to give a quick shout out to everybody who helps the channel run. I listen. Alejimbre in the chat says it's your fault, Brian. And and I agree with that. I was going to read your comment because I thought you said it's not your fault, Brian. And I was going to be like, well, whose fault is it? It's totally my fault. But you're like, it's your fault. And I'm like, fucking right, it is.
Serial Killer's asking sci-fi setting? Yeah. Doom is definitely a sci-fi setting. Yeah,
absolutely.
They open a portal to hell using their sci-fi technology.
Yeah, it doesn't take place on like a Mars
in their
base or
sci-fi lab on Mars. Yes,
for sure. But yeah, I mean, I would have called it a horror setting. But I again,
not for VFR. I would have said that for when you said it was scary. I probably would have said that for 3, but not for VFR. It's not really a horror game, but it's wishy-washy.
What are you gonna do? It's all good.
And Twitcher, I hope you were okay with my answers.
He's not. He says AJ got it wrong. Brian got it right.
He was grilling me the whole time. Good Lord, Twitcher.
Wow.
Who hurt you?
I know, right? Apparently you did. Show me on the doll. Show me on the doll, AJ. Marry, fuck, kill. Guys, thank you so much. We love all of you. We appreciate every single person that helps this channel run. You guys know that we cannot do it without you. This community means the world to me, and I fucking love all of you so very much. Instead of listing off every single person that helps me do this, I'm just going to say thank you. You know who you are. And AJ, thank you. Make sure if you don't already subscribe to AJ at PSVR Underground, so go subscribe to him. Guys, we'll be back on Wednesday with another episode. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody who helped us out in 20 questions. Thank you to everybody who tipped. Thank you to everybody who supports us on patreon.com/withoutparole And thank you to everybody who sat back, watched the show, didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there. And we love you just as much. AJ and Alberto Mapam of the Game Gato. Can I cue the cat?
Cue the cat, Brian, because I want to say happy birthday, first and foremost, to Your Long Shadows as a Game Cat Meow. Thank you for being such an avid supporter and awesome member of our community. Long Jason Ewing says, don't forget the thumbs up the stream, Tarzan. Tom Fleshier Gaming, have a great night. Much love to you too. Triangulator, my dude. That was fun. Thank you so much. Scott Disco, PSN, Hairfell, PSVR, Game Cap for life. What up, homie? Thank you for joining. Mark Smith. Craskel says, meow. I like it. MROW. I dig it. The Sacred Grove says Doom VFR is action. Yes, action shooter. That's what I was thinking. Justin Cassidy says festive lure to all the cats in the chat. GC13 Scat, thank you for hanging out. So good to see you. Don't be a stranger. Come once again. Well, come on down. Don't be shy.
Be as stranger as you can. Be as stranger as you can. That's the motto around here. Be as stranger as you can.
Can't wait to see what game based off a popular IP you're working on. Brax Bro. Brax Bro. Nobody's watching. It's the credits. Brax Bro Zach Lightning, Nick Bulow, thank you so much. Super Dexter Murphy, you have a great night as well. Zach Lightning says Cyber Demons, yes, one of the best parts about Doom. I love Doom. Satan's Neighbor, looking forward to PSVR 2. Mere seconds away, he says. Wow, he's worse than you, Brian. Mad Max, the Metaverse Game Cat.
It's also
VR.
true, man. It's also true. We are seconds away from the PlayStation VR2 reveal. It's
Like,
just
only
more
like
seconds than you're expecting.
Yeah, a bajillion, gazillion
Hundreds
seconds away.
of thousands,
I can't wait, guys.
millions.
Mere seconds, mere bazillion seconds. Neon Groove. Matthew Longo, thank you, man. You guys have a wonderful Stingray X. Gotta shout you out too, man. I see you. Twitcher, you have a great night. Love y'all. That Game Cat in the chat. Good to see you again, homie, as well. God, I love seeing him come back.
Right
Sirens
where
on
he
my end,
belongs.
the Game
He's in the
Cat.
chat. I love it.
LC2552, MRI Gamer, Mark Pringles Leaf, David the Game Cat runs. All you are is family. All you are is family. The Vin Diesel cat. I love it. All we are family. Well, it's all about family.
I know I'm not supposed to pick favorites, but man, Sirens on my end, the Game Cat is about as on brand as you can possibly get for Without Parole. And
the only problem is every time we say his name, we have to be like, "There's no sirens." If you hear sirens right now, those are your sirens. Pay attention.
Look in your rear view.
There's a bit of a conundrum with that name change.
Shit's going down. They're on to you. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out. It's Monday, man. We got shit to do. We got pizza to eat. Oh, happy Monday.